What is up, everyone? JD here. Hope you're doing well today. Got a very interesting knife in from our friend Chris of the channel to check out today. Let's jump into it and have a look at this one. All right, guys. Chris offered to send in his Project X. This is a very fancy version of this knife. I've seen this on other channels. I've seen this at shows. I've actually never handled it in person or checked it out myself. It does in the box have a orange G10 scale on here. And you can see he has the, I think they call it the stallion scale, but Chris, you can correct me in the comments below and I'll pin that response so that other people can get the correct information on here. It is a very nice looking piece, man. It is super blingy. This is just going to be more overview, thoughts and impressions. I'm not going to really do any carrying or cutting with it. I did check that pocket clip because that is a thick old beefy pocket clip. I don't think that's a standard clip. It almost looks like something that Lynch Northwest makes, but I could be wrong. Maybe this is like something Hinderer offers after the fact, because I thought Hinderers had kind of like the Spyderco style clips where it's fastened here and then ramps up, loops, and comes back down and over. So he can let you know again in the comments. I think it is a Lynch clip. I did check it real quick in the pocket just to see if it would go in and out, and it did just fine. Now with Hinderers, you can see here, they do have some very in-your-face fasteners. Everything I feel like about this knife is kind of in your face. I also don't know if this is the factory scale, meaning like, is this the scale it came with? Because it matches really well to the Stallion scale on the front. But it could be because I believe when I had my XM18, it was kind of the same way, titanium frame lock with a steel lock bar insert, and then it had the, I think mine had the blue G10, I want to say, for the XM18 that I had in briefly. But it is a flipper only deployment, which means that the stop pin is internal, not internal, is it internal? I'm trying to see, I can't do the disassembly. It looks like, oh, here it is. It's right here. And it looks like it's a through pin. So if you're familiar with the Spyderco Smock, I think that's what I'm seeing right here. It looks like the stop pin, it goes through a groove in the blade. So when it's moving around, it's right here in this position. So the blade probably has like a cutout section here that the stop pin rests on. The lock bar access is really nice on this one. I don't know if he has this riding on washers or the bearings, because I know this is the tri-way pivot system and that you can swap between the two. It continues to keep that Hinderer guard style flipper tab that I'm not a big fan of personally. I just find it to be a little bit uncomfortable in the hand for myself. But it does work as far as it being a guard. It's just a little hard to overcome because that's about where the detent brake is. I think this is, yeah, you're on a ramp and then you're actually on the blade itself. So pretty far to go, not far for the ramp. So that's the ramp, but if you try to flick it down without getting to the end of that ramp, it's a little far. Nice and centered. The attention to detail on this is really, really, really good, guys. One thing that's unique about the Project X, I don't know if it's easy to get the tool out of here, but the tool for disassembly is right here integrated into the backspacer. I don't want to mess with it too much because, again, I don't want to break it, but I haven't really tried to pull it apart or take it out to see how it would work. I don't know if you just push up, down. Oh, it feels like it could move easily, but again, I don't want to, oh, actually you can see. Can you see down in there? Let me see if I'm on it in camera. There we go. So it looks like you kind of push. Yeah, so it looks like it slides over this standoff here, and then you can probably lift it up, but it's in there pretty secure. Yeah, nothing jingles or rattles. Not surprised by the machining at all. Again, really nice detent. The other thing that surprised me is the blade stock is not super thick. I felt like my XM18 was a little bit of a thicker geometry for some reason. I don't know if the Project X has like a thinner geometry to it, or if I just haven't handled my XM18 in such a long time that I really can't remember what the geometry was on it. But I would call it like a medium geometry. It's not going to be a super slicer, but it still feels like it would cut really, really well. Don't know if this is a factory edge or if he's put his own edge on it. Got my fingerprints all over it. I apologize. It's been so cold that when I'm washing and drying my hands as much as I am in the cold weather, I get ashy. So I had to put some lotion on. I thought I did a good job getting it off, but I see that it is getting on that static washed blade. Now, it doesn't look like there's a ton of weight reduction on the inside here. It actually doesn't look like there's any on the lock bar side, and it looks like there may be a minimal amount on the show side scale. I am curious what this is going to weigh, but to give you an idea of the size, this is a big knife. I have two sets of my largest knives currently in my collection that we'll use for some size comparisons. So let's go ahead and do that, and then I am going to check the weight on this one. This does feel like it's a little heavier. All right, so here we have my Kungwu Padre and my Wii-XL, and I think it's clear that your Hinderer, while it is close on blade length to the XL from the pivot, it definitely has more handle length. Let's do a couple more and then we'll grab the scale. All right, so I do have my Spyderco Manix 2 lightweight, and I have my Vero Engineering Nova. Again, I think that the Project X clearly stands out here as the larger knife. Now, I will compare it to the Padre and the Nova because I think those are my heaviest full-size knives. When we bring the scale out here in just a minute to check the weight on this one, but again, this is a larger knife. I think it is a thicker blade stock overall. And again, all titanium with outlandishly large, oversized hardware. Again, it is a beefy knife. I know it is meant to be hard use, but look nice. But I really think it's going to outweigh them. I am curious. Let's go ahead and grab the scale and check. Okay, guys, we got the scale out and on here. Hopefully you're able to see that okay. We'll start with the Nova. I think my Nova is the heaviest, and I think that is because it does have a full-length back spacer. Yeah, so that one's coming in. It kept climbing there for a second. Coming in at 5.7 ounces. My Padre going to be a little bit lighter. Only got a little less than that, actually. It's about a quarter length, just over back spacer. So 5.3 ounces climbing down versus the 5.7 on the Nova. Again, the Nova definitely is my heaviest. Let's see where the Project X lands. Coming in at 6.9 ounces, just squeaking under 7 ounces. So it is substantially heavier. I don't know, again, if the G10 scale reduces the weight. I would think it would a little bit on there. And if this is, let's call it a Lynch clip for the Project X, then I would imagine that I think, man, it's been a minute since I've seen a stock Hinderer clip, but I think those might be, are they titanium also? Just like a thinner titanium? That might not make that much of a difference. All right, let's go ahead and clear the scale out of here, and we'll go ahead and wrap it up with my final thoughts and impressions, guys. All right, let's do final thoughts and impressions. Normally, when I'm doing a true in-depth review on a knife, I do grade on a scale of 1 to 10. I'm actually just going to forego that. To me, this is just going to be an appreciation for getting to check the knife out. I didn't do any real substantial carrying with it. I don't really want to cut with his knife. I don't know if this is a save queen. He insured it like it was, so I'm just going to approach it like it is a save queen. I really like the build on it. It looks really good. I love the monochromatic look to it. The outlandish hardware, again, really stays true, in my opinion, to the overbuilt nature of this knife. I feel like it is built to potentially be used hard or heavy duty. It is surprisingly, I don't think I mentioned this, but it is surprisingly comfortable ergonomically, a little less so in that reverse grip I was just doing, but really just in the natural grip. It really fills the hand and fits the hand nicely. The jimping is done well. It's got sharp jimping, but it's not aggressive or tight. So it does kind of keep that thumb in place if you wanted to do some cutting into some heavier duty material and trying to support yourself going through it in a straighter line. And you do have a little bit of a spoon here, but for me, even with the larger hands, it is a little bit of a stretch. I think in a pinch, you could probably do the pinch grip for a little bit of trace work and some detailed work. I think you could get away with that. It feels like this, I don't know if maybe he has it tightened down in the pivot, or if it's just something that he doesn't carry often, but it does feel like it could be broken a little bit more. But again, my XM18 is very different, and it's far removed for me than it is the Project X, so I really just don't know about that. Again, that flipper tab from Hinderer, it's a little sharp right here. I think you gotta kind of, yeah, it's just a little sharp. It kind of digs into the finger, so not one that you would want to fidget with a bunch. You kind of open it, do your thing, and then close it. I think with the XM18, I think if I remember right, you could also use the thumb studs to open that. So this is just a flipper only. I think this is like one of the, what do they call it? The Trinity? Well, no, I guess it's the XM18. What was it? The Strider and the is it the Sabenza or is it the Umanzan? I think it's the Sabenza, are all kind of like the original Trinity. So this coming from that line, I can definitely see influences from that, but I also feel like it's very much its own knife. Like there's things that I feel like are different from what I remember, again, a long time ago, from my XM18, and it just really wasn't for me. I appreciate the overbuilt nature, but to me, for a daily carry, probably not. And then for a hard use knife, I don't know how I would feel about using and abusing this. Some people are going to be like, that's what it's made for, and totally get that. But at this price point, I'd also say I get why you might want to light duty use this, and it feels like a statement showpiece. But War Room will have to let us know down in the comments for sure. A special shout out and thanks to him for letting me check this out. I'm going to spend just a few more days with it, and then I'm going to get this back to him. I'll probably show it off also and thank him in the live stream that I'm doing tomorrow night. This is Wednesday, so the night before the live stream. And after that, I'll probably get it back to him. But just want to take some pictures with it, do some shorts with it, and just spend a little bit more time with it the rest of today and some tomorrow. And then I'm going to move that back on to him. So thank you for letting me check that out. If you enjoyed the video, or if you have any comments on this one, definitely leave them down below, or any thoughts or any information that you'd like to share in addition to just what I've done here exploring with it in an overview format. Definitely sound off down in the comments below. If you enjoyed, a like would be appreciated. If you're not subscribed, consider subscribing. I'd love to have you follow along as I grow the channel. Special thank you to my channel members. I think that's it for me. I'm out of here, guys. I hope you have a great week. I'll catch you next time. Peace.